Hey folks, my name is Joey. I'm a crafter, 3D printer, and a collector of model trains, and I'm going to show you how I build a variety of different things. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. While working on the passenger car, I was going through Thingiverse and saw this model for an Ender 3 Pro printer that was scaled down to fit the size of a spool holder. I thought this was a great adorable idea and be an easy way to dispense the filament, to dispense the solder while wiring the LEDs to the car. But I instantly thought I could redesign it to look like my logo. Luckily, I already had a full 3D model of it that I made for a reference point for my music video, the animation that I made previously for the Jazza animation contest. And that's what I did. I imported just the print bed to SketchUp and scaled down my whole model to fit that. I then started to remove all the pieces that I didn't need and fill in those holes that it left. And then separated all the pieces into their own separate part that I need to 3D print. The next thing I did was worked on the print bed and the springs. So what I did was made sure I was in front facing view and selected the print bed and all the springs and made it into a group so I didn't damage the model. Then took it over to the side and fixed the springs, because originally when I made this model I made it a little more blockier than it should have been, because it didn't have to be 100% accurate. I was only doing it for visualization purposes for my Jazza PowerPoint video. I needed a reference to make part of the video. So I wanted to make the springs circular as opposed to square. So what I did was I made a line in the square and made the circle the same diameter of the square and extruded that and did it on all four sides. Then the next thing I did was went into monochromatic view, so it shows me only two colors. And it shows me what an internal face is and what an external face is. All the internal faces show up in blue and all the external faces show up in white. While working on that, I noticed there were some holes that I weren't able to fix. So I went to the original model of the print bed and copied it and pasted it in. I must have deleted something by accident and it wouldn't let me add it back in. So I just worked with the original print bed that had no issues. No, not print bed, the base of the unit. Then I flipped all the faces. While working on the base of the model, I noticed that the LCD screen knob and the hotend was not connected to the model properly. So I took it off the model, made it a group, and laid it flat again, and then angled it to the face of the model so it's properly attached to the model so I could 3D print it. Then started to work on the hotend. The original base unit for the hotend was pretty much the way that I wanted it. So I didn't have to do much there except for add some holes. Then I wanted to work on the silicone sock and the nozzle. The problem was is that when I first made this, like I said, I didn't make any of it accurate to what I really wanted it to be, so I had to start remaking it. I made the rough shape that I wanted for the side profile of the silicone sock, and then made a square the width that I wanted, and used the follow me tool to follow it around that. But it, for some reason, wasn't working on a small scale, so I had to make it larger, and then scale it back down. And I enclosed all on the top and the bottom, and added holes to the proper size in the top and bottom of the silicone sock. Then the next thing I worked on was the nozzle. I made it square like the original design, and I added the circle in the center, a little bigger than the diameter of a spool, the solder wire, and I made the top of the hole for the hotend the size a little bigger than the size of a piece of Bowden tube. That's the tube that connects to the hotend to the extruder gear. At least on my printer. Not all printers use a Bowden tube. Then I decided I want to add a magnet to the bottom of the build plate. So what I did was, in the center, made a rectangle so I could fit a little chunk of, because I have sticker paper magnet for my cutting machine. And I was able to do that, and I'm eventually going to print little objects. Here's the first part being printed. It's the build plate for the printer. I had told Kira to put in a color change, but for some reason it didn't do. I wanted the springs to be orange. I wanted it to stop right when the springs started to print. For some reason it didn't. And I had it at the right layer height. I don't know why, but as you can see, I forgot it on the next print, and it started to do it at the right layer height when I'm printing the Z-axis. And I painted the springs orange because that's what I wanted. The springs to be orange. And then I printed the build plate and the hot end, but for some reason the footage never saved. I printed both of them with my palette. The palette is a 3D printing accessory that allows you to be able to print in multiple colors. Mine can only print in 4 colors, where the latest one can print in up to 8 colors. I printed the base. For some reason the base, it added a slight silver edge on a few layers of the print. I don't know why, and I don't have pictures of it. I painted over it. I thought you would be able to see it in the video, but the video never captured. And I painted the fan silver. That was I started to print my logo. But as you can see, it ripped off the bed to the raft. Here's a look at the finished model. Stay tuned for part 4 of my passenger car build, where I use this stand and I wire up the LEDs to the passenger car that I am building. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe.